Hello, Love Loon Squad. Welcome to the show pod. You know, the Lovable Lunatic show pod is a variety show infused podcast. So take some man hours, you know? I like cheap labor, so I use the immigrants that are here illegally, stealing all our jobs, cleaning toilets, picking fruit. I'm sort of famously known as a loudmouth politics piece of shit. And one of the reasons I wanted to do the show is because, oh my God, there's a lot. I'm so much more than politics. I talk about Britney Spears and roller coasters too. I get asked questions a lot. Scott, why do you talk about politics so much? Well, let's start at the very beginning. A very good place to start. I was in my mom's vagina in Argentina. My mom, we talked about my mom, passed away recently, and I learned a lot from her and going back through life. And I also mentioned the letters from mom suitcase. I found a suitcase of letters my mom wrote to her mom after she moved to the United States to give birth to me so I could have a wonderful life in America where they escape dictators. We don't like dictators here. So my mom moved here. My siblings were all born in Argentina. They moved to the United States. And my dad, a lot of stories now that they're both gone. My dad's still kind of a question mark. And I heard a lot of stories about my dad being this. Because my mom would say to me too, she's like, you're just like, well, let me put a cigarette in my mouth. You're just like your father. She shouldn't do anything like that. But I like to portray my mom as Morticia Addams for some reason. It's a little sexier. She was kind of short and, Morticia's more. Wouldn't you rather see this? You're just like your father. No, she's like, you're just like your father. He was like super anti, like corrupt government and everything like that, which is weird because he went on to become a fucking asshole and made his family homeless. But anyway, we'll talk. And to the point where when Nixon pulled his bullshit, remember when Nixon was crazy and a criminal? How we laugh at the old Republican Party. My dad moved the country. My dad moved the country. And he's a powerful man. No, he moved the family back to Argentina. He's like, fuck this country. We escaped a country to get away from this shit, and we're going back to Argentina. They eventually came back to have me. But so politics was always sort of ingrained, I guess, in the DNA. And when I was a little wee lad, because we was po, we had like this old record player and just old records. And I was brainwashed by the Beatles. My sister brainwashed me on the Beatles. And then also Tom Lehrer. And Tom Lehrer is a kind of obscure satirist, kind of a cult following now, but in the 50s and 60s, and he was actually a mathematics professor at Harvard and kind of a genius in that, music is in frequency, right? So noises and sounds. So he could like master the piano with math kind of shit. And he would write these brilliant, really satire-y, the proper word is Gladys, how do you say satire as an adjective? Satiric? Thank you. Have more margarita, Scott. And his music from the 50s and 60s was all about, that's when, McCarthyism and all that shit, a lot of shit. Nuclear bombs, nuclear war, all that stuff. So, and he did it in a very lighthearted way, and he's kind of an equal opportunity offender without unlike me, where I say, go fuck yourself, you stupid twat. He would say it in a smarter Harvard education way. And a lot of his comedy was about race relations and things like that. And so I remember that's all I knew. All I knew as a kid when I moved to California after the house got taken away. Thanks, Dad. Miss ya. And we were living in our car. The only music I had in my brain was the Beatles, some Disney songs, the classics like, I'm wishing on a woman I love. That's my Snow White impression. It's not very good. I don't do impressions. Go to a comedian for that. And I would go, and then there's like audition for the talent show. I'm like, well, I could do a Tom Lehrer song called "The Vatican Rag," which was trashing the Catholic Church. And they were like, no, can you like clap your hands and dance to the Mickey Mouse Club song? So I'd come back. I'm like, I'm going to do a song called National Brotherhood Week. And it was a kind of a holiday back then where they set aside a week for people to pretend they liked each other. And it was like National Brotherhood Week. They want everyone to get along because shit was really bad at the time. Not like it's not now. Because we had the equal rights thing pass, right? And then everything's been fine. So National Brotherhood Week was this thing that they tried. And to give you an example of how successful it was, the first week of National Brotherhood Week, Malcolm X was killed. So shows you how much some white people want to get along with the black people. But yeah, I remember going in, I was 7 years old. I wanted to fit in. I love, I'm a theater kid. I love, being an asshole on stage. I walk in, I go, "Hi, my name's Scott Button. I'm from Poplar Bluff, Missouri." They're like, "What the fuck is that?" I'm like, "I don't know. It has like 12 people in it." And I'm like, "I'm going to sing song called National Brotherhood Week. It's about people loving each other." And they're like, "That sounds great." And so I remember Mrs. Cody was my second grade teacher that year. She was also a piano player, and I would like recruit her to play all these songs. And she thought I was kind of interesting. Like, most kids just like do jump rope or like, well, just jump rope. That's really the only qualifications a 7-year-old would have in a talent show. And so I get up there and I'm like, "Hit it, Pat." Pat Cody. I don't know. It's really inappropriate. And so I remember the song. Just imagine a 7-year-old getting on stage auditioning for the talent show at the age of 7. Yeah, I remember that. I remember like seeing the teachers write notes and they're like, I remember the verse that goes, "Oh, the Protestants hate the Catholics, and the Catholics hate the Protestants, and the Hindus hate the Muslims, and everybody hates the Jews." And the teachers were like, "Thank you, not appropriate." That's the shit I grew up on. And I would go home, I'm like, Mama, they wouldn't let me do the song about hating the Jews. She's like, "Scotty, you need to not talk about things over your head." Then I tried Vatican Rag. We will all go together when we go. It's a very upbeat, bouncy song about nuclear holocaust, how we're all going to die at the same time. "We will all fry together when we fry. We'll be French fried potatoes by and by." Man, I've grown up and I still can't hit those low notes. Maybe my balls will drop one day. Maybe it'll happen live on air. I remember hearing about elections a lot growing up, and we never talked about politics. And I actually asked my brother and my sister when we went to Argentina to take my mom back home. I was like, "You guys, we've never talked about this, but we pretty much agree on politics stuff, Were we taught that? Like, were we taught to vote a certain way or think a certain way? Because I don't remember it. No, never was. My mom wasn't a citizen until 2005 or 6. And so I didn't understand that either. I was like, "But you can vote, but you live here." And she's like, "Well, I'm not a citizen, so you have to make sure you can vote because lots of places don't allow you to. Like most of the world, it's not a thing. You're very lucky to live here. That's why I moved here. So you could be in a place where you could vote." I was like, wow. And so I remember how important it was for me to register to vote. Not a certain way. I don't know how. In fact, I had a rice baby. We talked about like when you're a kid, they try to teach you how to be a responsible parent. Not like I needed that advice. Fuck that shit. Thank God for all those abortions I paid for. And like some schools would have like an egg on a spoon and you have to like walk around and make sure the egg doesn't fall. Our school, we did a rice baby. It was a bag of rice and you had to like carry it around like a baby and you could put a diaper on it if you wanted to, like Donald Trump's. And they would call you in the middle of the night and at like 3 a.m. and your parent would go, Mrs. Albogan, Mrs. Albogan. She was our like gym coach / health teacher. And she was very like, Jane Lynchy. And her name was Mrs. L. Bogan. I was just such a prolific comedy writer at such a young age. I called her Mrs. Les Bogan. Yeah, I'm pretty clever. And they would call and go, I have to feed your rice. So then I had a call with the principal. They called my mom. Your son has been abusing his rice baby. What? And I had drawn Clinton Gore all over my rice baby. And I don't know why. Why would I tattoo my rice baby with Clinton Gore? Just very odd. So I've always just kind of had a politics thing. It's always been personal. I just hear about like governments overthrowing themselves to fuck the people over and people flee countries to have a better life. Like that was my family. And then my dad, the white guy in the family made us homeless. Thanks. And then the immigrant single mom is the one who worked her way back up to have a life, right? Anyway. Not that I have a thing against white people. I am white, half white. it's always just been a thing. And I remember I turned 18. I woke up and I was like, I'm 18. I have a pube. And I went across the street to the post office. We lived across the street from the post office, and I registered to vote. And that's pretty much what it was. Fast forward to Bush, when George Bush's brother handed in that election. They stole that first election. Don't count any more votes in Florida or we won't win. Okay. Make the Supreme Court assign me president. You got it. It was pretty interesting to get into politics, but not really get it. And some people think I like work in politics. I've worked on 11, actually, volunteer. I'm not smart. I don't have an education. I'm a dumb piece of shit. But I volunteer a lot. I've worked on 11 campaigns, ranging from president, obviously, to city council member, and even judge and Senate, state and federal. It's very odd. But it's one of those things where you go, and I've knocked on 22,371 doors, I think, is my personal tally. And you talk to people and you get them face to face, and it's much different than like Instagram and shit. And now it's just gotten to this point where, I don't know, I just remember I had a friend who, I have a little nickname, Scotty B. It kind of stuck. She called me Scotty B. And she was younger than me, much younger, and she was a coworker. And she just was like really upset. She was sick and she was upset. And I just remember her saying to me, she gave me a hug and she was like, Scott, can you just make me laugh? Just make me laugh, Scotty B. Make me laugh, Scotty B. And she died the next morning. She was 18. And I was confused and I was angry. And then we learned more. And that's when, if you go back, that's when Bush, aside from pretending certain other brown people did certain things to the country and the World Trade Center, they're like, hey, this is a great opportunity to use my Saudi buddies to steal their oil money. Can you tell the difference between like Persian, Iraq people, like Lebanese people, black people? No, I live in Kentucky. Great. So Iraq attacked us. We're going to launch some wars and give ourselves no bid contracts to get all the oil money and sell all the war machinery. So that's what Republicans do. Why do you think they picked Dick Cheney? He's head of a war building at Halliburton, and he gives himself a no bid contract and then make torture illegal. And Dick Cheney, who also famously shot his best friend in the face. Does no one remember anything but me? Does no one remember anything but me? Does no one remember COVID?
Attention Love Loon Squad, due to the margarita in Scott's bloodstream, he forgot to specify that he is referencing the mindset of the 2024 election, which Kamala Harris won, and everyone knows it. We now resume this sad man's tales.
People are like, I don't know if we're better off. I don't know if we're better off now. I don't know. Are we better off? I don't know. Well, I don't see ice cream trucks being used as morgues. Do you? I'm not wrestling old ladies for toilet paper at CVS anymore. Are you? I don't have to wait 3 hours to be one of 5 people let in to go buy that toilet paper. Are you? So fuck off. So now we're going to fast forward to when I became like an adult. I just remember being really angry at that point because what happened was one of the things Bush did too was he fucked with the prescription drug thing, Medicare drug problem. And right? It's one of those gouging things. You have cancer. You need this to live. $45,000 per bottle. That's what they do. So my little 18-year-old friend who started feeling weird, it's because she was 18 and still working as a part-time hostess at California Pizza Kitchen with me. And it was like a heart issue. Poof, your heart medication is now, instead of $5, like $3,000. Dead. And that's when was the first time I really immediately felt a personal connection to what a legislative choice can do to a direct person. And I got mad. And I remember just getting really mad. I'm like, 18-year-olds shouldn't die because they can't get a little fucking heart pill. It's ridiculous. I want $50,000 because I have this pill that costs 15 cents to make. By the way, if you guys have any prescription issues, which I do, I'm a crazy ass motherfucker. Mark Cuban. Okay. He's one of those billionaires that's not a fucking piece of crap. Maybe he is. I haven't met him. I don't want to say false claims. But he started a pharmacy where it's just real deliberate. It shows you the cost of the drug. They tack on 15% profit, which is a huge profit. What's a profitable company? Like 6% profit? Now you have companies making 62% profit, and they're like, Joe Biden controls the price of dildos. Yeah, Joe Biden also runs toilet paper factories and McDonald's, and he prices the cost of Whoppers and tampons, and Joe Biden is also in charge of fuck off. So that's when I kind of got, people always asking, why did you get into did you work in? No, that's how I kind of got into politics. And then it just kind of, and I have friends all over the place. I have many Republican friends. It's not them. And I'm pretty guilty of I get messages a lot saying, Scott, it's not nice of you to lump me into the Republicans that are racist. Well, yeah. You registered as one. You watched 1.5 years of nominees. You chose that one. You put on the little costumes and the gold sneakers. And so, yes, you are lumped in. No one voted for Kelly Clarkson because they wanted Justin Guarini to be the first American Idol. That's what a vote is. It's a symbol of you. I actually do watch the other side, so you don't have to. So I actually am informed, and I do know what I'm talking about. So don't come at me. Because now I have a show, and I stockpile the hate mail I've been getting since the 2000s. So like Kayleigh McInerney and Boris Epstein and Matt Schlapp. Before they were household names, I would fight with them on Twitter, and they would, call me you're a stupid commie fag, and you're a Mexican, and I don't know, whatever else they would call me. And they'd block me like little girls with their tail between their legs. So it's fun to mess with these motherfuckers. And now that I have I'm like, you know what? I'm going to call it Scott's Hate Mail. It's a little section on the show. I'm going to read these hate mail messages that I stockpile so you can see what these people are really like. Because I'm tired of being told I'm hyperbolic. I just tell it as it is. Motherfuckers. And I pour a lot of gravy on it. I like opinion gravy. Who doesn't like gravy? But yeah, heard some Puerto Rican jokes recently. Here's the thing about Puerto Rico. It's an American territory. They're Americans. They're automatically American. You shoot your sperm into an egg. 9 months later, it becomes a person, and it's an American person. Because sperm is not persons. Eggs are not people. Fetuses are not humans. Sorry. And yeah, it just, can you believe it? I mean, it was just so right. I couldn't believe that joke. What? Again, no one remembers anything but me. Does no one remember when Donald Trump was president and the U.S. territory of Puerto Rico was gang raped by hurricanes and they were floating underwater forever? And he went down there, threw toilet paper rolls at their faces. Anybody remember this? Am I the only one? Remember, he's like, "Hi, I love Puerto Rico." And then he blocked federal aid for years from Puerto Rico. They had no electricity. They floated in their own shit. And whose fault is that? Well, it's not Kamala Harris's fault. It's not Joe Biden's fault. Certainly not my fault. So fuck off. Donald Trump was legally declared a racist by the government in the 70s with his father. This is all old news. Scott, when I voted for him in 2016, I just didn't know. Well, fucking read something except your diary and fucking Harry Potter books and Taylor Swift lyrics, okay? Do something else. As I sit here and go, all I do is talk about politics. All I do is talk about politics. All I do is talk about politics. He was declared and sued by the government for blatantly not renting to black people, which is a crime, and it's racist. And then he launched his campaign by coming down an escalator and going, here's my illegal immigrant whore wife, and Mexicans are rapists. Mexicans are rapists. That's how he announced his campaign. So please cut the shit with, I don't know why you would, why is it bad to vote? I don't know. I'm not one of them. Yes, you are. You're not a Justin Guarini fan. You bought the Kelly Clarkson album. Fuck off. Let's talk about media in this country. Let's talk about the Argentina that my mother fled, where they would blow up newspapers if they didn't like what you said about them, right? That's real American. Jeff Bezos now. Donald Trump goes to Joe Rogan's podcast so Joe Rogan can talk about aliens and fondle Trump's little ear. And he also met Jeff Bezos there. And Jeff Bezos holds the endorsements that were written for Kamala Harris because, well, gosh, I can't think of why. Why would billionaires buy newspapers and manipulate the news? What could I possibly reference to figure this out? Oh, that's right. History. Maybe that's why they're banning history from school books. Because if you don't know that your dad fingering you when you're 11, getting you pregnant, sending you to the factory to work overnight in a slaughterhouse and be sent to school for target practice during math class, you won't know all that stuff is bad if that's how you're taught. So you brainwash them early. Finger your daughter, marry her, shoot her in class, and vote for Donald Trump. Yeah, I'm going there. Somebody has to. I don't know why you pretend that like he's not I mean, he held a huge racist rally last night. Stop it. Yeah, and I know the comedian went out, and I'm familiar with him, very, very familiar. What about the people who weren't comedians? You know, he was a comedian, hired to do a job. I don't know, not my favorite cup of tea, that type of thing. But that's his crowd, and that's what his shows have been, and it fit. But also, it's a decision. And also, he's a fucking comedian. What about the government leaders that are not comedians? What about Rudy Giuliani? He's not a comedian. Well, I don't know. The guy that mistook a fucking fertilizer store for a press conference room next to a dildo shop and a crematorium. Anyone remember that? Oh, the answer is no. Gee, people forgetting important things. How unlike everyone. So these people are pieces of shit. Not all of them. I'm not saying all of them. Not everyone is anything. I don't love all Democrats. Never said that. What I do say is that you don't see Democrats burning ballot boxes. I remember this one argument. Politics is funny. When I heard that about my dad, it was kind of the liberal dad thing. I mean, I only remember my dad and my mom being in the room like at the same time 3 times in my whole life. One was 4 times. I can think of 4 times my mom and dad were in the same room that I remember. My brother's wedding. They didn't. They stayed clear. In high school, I had a show. I was competing in a show group, and it was in San Diego. My dad came. My mom came down with some friends, and my dad showed up with the other woman. That was weird. That's when I found out there was another woman. I was like, who's with my dad? Wait, is it possible my parents split up when I was 3, but due to extreme Roman Catholicism, they lied to the youngest to keep it a secret until he was mid-20s? Ooh. I don't know why I have trust issues. Yeah, so I was very confused. And then we had this like intervention where my sister and my brother-in-law came out and they're like, we have to talk to you. Because my mom called the family and they go, he knows about Scott. Does Scott know about that, her? And they were like, what? And then they told me the truth. And I was like, oh, well, that makes a lot more sense. I mean, it didn't change anything. He was still never around and it didn't matter. The other time I remember being in the room with my mom and my dad, it was with my brother too. He came, he came on the weekends. He would come on Sunday. I know this now too. Let's get it all out there. My dad would come on Sunday, take me and my brother to a movie, and then we'd go to Carl's Jr. afterwards. And I just thought, again, I didn't know my dad was just coming to drop off a check for my mom each month and take us out for an afternoon and make it seem like we had a dad. And I just remember I used to love going to the movies. I couldn't believe it. I mean, we didn't even have a TV, because my iPad is bigger than the black and white little TV with the wire hangers. I almost said abortion device. Little wire hanger to get some signal. And so just going to the movies with my dad, it was like, oh my God. And Carl's Jr., oh, wow, like a burger with fries. That's why I'm addicted to fast food, I think, to this day. Makes me think I have a father. And one of those Sundays, come with us, Mom. So we went to this new thing. My dad was like, there's a new thing. It's amazing. It's called Starbucks. We were like, what is that? Yeah, we know what Starbucks is now, but it's like the first Starbucks in Orange County. So we went, and a fight broke out about the death penalty. And my brother and I were young, so we were just sitting there. But my dad was like, ah, he was really against it. My mom was really for it. My mom was super pro death penalty, very eye for an eye. My dad's like, it's hypocritical, it's expensive, kind of the real progressive view of it. And my mom, even though she was a liberal, she's also from a, country with weird imperialistic views of things and even immigrants and stuff like that. And so it's interesting when you see an American guy and Argentina and whatever, and everything's clashing. I've always been torn about the death penalty too, because I'm like, well, from a legal standpoint, y'all also know I'm a trial watcher, right? And I know a lot of attorneys and stuff. I go to trials. We haven't got to the Elizabeth Holmes story when I hung out with her and helped her escape the courthouse when she got sentenced. Yeah, it's a good story. But I know from prosecutors that I know and defense attorneys that I know, the death penalty, it's kind of like, well, it's not really, California doesn't do it anymore, but like, it's juries typically convict lower, right? Because they're human. You try to humanize the killer on the stand or whatever, and then you go down. So there's a thought bubble that keep it, because that way they can go for the death penalty and know they're not going to get convicted of it, and the jury will knock it down to the more reasonable first degree or whatever. I don't know. I do think it's kind of hypocritical to kill someone for killing. But then you have the Menendez brothers thing. Oh my God, we haven't even gotten to the Menendez brothers thing yet. Are they going to get out, you guys? I don't know, man. I know that case inside and out. And I had some friend, my brother even, he's like, they should be let out. I was like, you should be fucking punched in the mouth by your little brother. Why I oughta. You want a knuckle sandwich? Is that how you punch, by the way? How do you punch? I don't believe in violence of any kind. I'm a passive aggressive guy, and I use my words to make. I got in a fight with a partially dressed drag queen the other day. We'll talk about it. Put up your dukes. Is that how you fight? What ended up happening was there was some poo like in the gutter, and I thought it was my poo or the dog's poo. I'm guessing he thought it was the dog's poo. And he wanted me to pick it up. And I didn't know what he was talking about because the dogs I was with did not go poo. And I'm holding the doggy bag in my hand. So he's in my face and he keeps, then the two, I think they were fucking. I'm pretty sure they were fucking. I think they were fucking. Is that how three-ways work? I don't know. And so when the other two guys came out, he started showing off. That's why I think. Kind of trying to, jumping up to get up to my height. And I was like, you better get the fuck out of my fucking face right fucking now. I'm not in the fucking mood. Get the fuck out of my fucking face. And he goes, that's your dog's poop. I said, you want to get a fucking thermometer and stick it in that fucking poop and tell me the temperature and see if it's my dog's poop? It's not my dog's fucking poop. And he went like that. And his hand actually touched my nose. I have a big nose. And I went like that. And I was like, and the other two guys came and took the other guy away. And he's like, pick up your shit. Pick up your shit. Pick up your shit. And because I'm me, the liberal doormat, I did pick up the poo. And I know it wasn't my dog's because it was hard. And fresh poo is nice and warm, soft. Your hands can squish right through it. It's kind of like the Republicans during the January 6th Republican terrorist attack on the United States when they pooped in their hands and they walked around video of themselves going, hi, I'm a gorilla. I love him. I'm patriotic. Now, what am I going to do with my poo? Where's Nancy? 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 My poo. I'm going to draw my name like a finger painting toddler with my poo. My fresh poo that's not hard. That's the point. I knew that wasn't my dog's poo because it was hard. Unlike the fresh, warm poop of the January 6th rioters. Because people are like, Joe Biden ended COVID. I hate him. He's old. You know who else was old? Yoda. You're allowed to dispute elections. Everyone does. You're allowed to. What you're not allowed to do is kill cops with Blue Lives Matter flags. Blue Lives Matter. Let's go kill some with this Blue Lives Matter flag. Republicans are the party of the military. Republicans love law enforcement. You're dead. Now I'm going to stake my claim with my Blue Lives Matter flag. God, I fucking hate these fuckers. Just the bad ones. You know what I mean? And one thing you have to remember is, because people are like, I have the right to vote. I have the right to vote. You don't have a right to vote. There's no right to vote in the Constitution. There's no right to vote in any of the amendments. There's not a right to vote in the Bill of Rights. It's a freedom, but it's not a right. And that's how they're going to try, because they tried last time to do that. That's what it is. If you really look at the Constitution, you vote, and then the state, right? Because we don't have an election. We have 50 elections, 50 individual state-run elections. Every state has its own election. Every state has its own election rules, right? You certify, you have the winner. But it's up to the state, right? That's why the fake electors. What's a fake elector, Scott? Well, an elector, what's an elector? Back in the old days, when the blacks, those pesky black slaves who were like, I'm a human being. Aren't you too? No, I'm white and you're just a dog. Now build my mansion. It's not a right. It's like the state decides with electors. And they go, okay, so and so on. So the electors representing that party go and certify, right? The state, though, it's up to the state. So the state can actually go, we're going to determine another way, not the vote. That's why, like in a lot of these red states, they're passing legislation to make it the choice of the legislature, not the voters. Let the legislature choose. Oh, well, we're your legislature. We know you. We promise to represent you. I promise. I promise if you vote for Donald Trump, you'll have a bigger dick. It's all lies. So you don't have a right to vote. You have a freedom to vote. It's almost gone. So you better fucking use it while you can. And I don't care if you hate Democrats. I hate black people. And I hate women. I hate fags. And I hate trans people. And I have no sex life of my own. So all I do is talk about other people's privates. Go get laid. Or masturbate 35 times a day like I do. Don't kill people. Don't take away my fucking freedoms because you can't get fucked. And you go get fucked in the bathroom at the airport by janitor men. And when you get caught, you go, oh shit, well, I'm an anti-gay Republican that passes anti-gay legislation. I just got fucking caught deep-throating a janitor. Oh, where's my rosary? Oh, there it is. Jesus is back. What is that? Put that cock back in those dirty people. Oh, now send me money. I love Jesus and I hate fags. That's the Republican Party. So you guys better vote. Another right you don't have is the right to own firearms. That's not in the Second Amendment unless you're in the National Guard. The National Guard has the right to protect against foreign enemies invading. So that takes out the excuse to spray paint classroom walls with first graders' faces, doesn't it?
A, B, C, D.
At Love Loon Pod. It's right he. See it? It's right he. Love Loon Pod. Is that too many syllables for you? I know you forgot about COVID, and I just don't know if I should pick Trump. I just don't know. He might be pretty good. I just don't know about that Kamala Harris. So I'm going to try to be a loudmouth voice like them, as aggressive as them, but for the right reasons and for the right causes, for the right people. I don't think you should hate people because of what they pray to. I think all people who pray should be deported. Sorry. I know that Aladdin and I know the genie is not real. I'm not making fun of religious people. What I'm saying is, like I just said, my mom, my sister, like super religious people, but not assholes about it. It's a private, personal, internal structure to guide you through life with basic principles and morals. And that's great. You don't go, well, God told me I should shoot fags. God told me I have a right to have a bazooka to put in this third grader's mouth and shoot her in the face. I don't like that. I don't like racism. I don't like hatred unless they deserve it. That's always been kind of my rule too. I remember in junior high, I said to a friend, it's in my yearbook actually. I said, don't get in a fight this summer. Instead, just tell them that they're ugly. How are they going to come back from that? Because I don't believe in violence. I've been punched in the face 4 different times. Just because I mouth off and I don't fight back because they hate that. I remember a little piece of shit in 7th grade. Went to elementary school with him too. His name was Nick Morehouse. And none of the girls liked him. I had a lot of friends that were girls. I remember walking home from school from Serrano, and we were in front of the Green Burritos, little Mexican restaurant. And he goes, "Hey, look at all the schoolgirls walking home from school." And he came over to me and he slapped my book out of my hand. And I just stood there, and he's like, you're not even gonna hit me back, pussy. And then all 3 of the girls just went and slapped him. And it was like, he's like, you're not even gonna fight back, little girl. And I picked up my book. I bet, you better go home and wash your face or you'll be late for class. Anyway, can you tell I'm stressed and angry? Anything more fun we can talk about? Let's see. The fake news is all owned by right-wing corporate media. Stop it. Even MSNBC is all Trump ads. There is no left-wing media in this country. Stop it. That's why you have these billionaires literally blocking newspapers from printing stories. This is what dictatorship looks like. This is not hyperbole. This isn't drama. When money owns the media and the news, that's kind of fascism. It's where it starts. You know those contrarians who are just the smart, I call them the pickle jar people. You know, they're the smartest one in the room. You know, everyone else is a retard except for them, right? I can't. Fuck. I can't open this pickle jar. You're not doing it right. You're not doing it. I got it. I'll do it for you. Because I'm smarter than everyone else. Well, yeah, we all loosened it, you shitface. So these people are like, well, I just hate everything and all government, and so both parties are the same. No, they're not. Stop it. What, they both consist of mammals? Love Loon Pod?
Welcome aboard.
It'll be wild. I'm pretty nuts. It's going to be passionate. It's going to be stressful. It's going to be like watching Love Island. That's a show, right? Love Island. I don't watch any of those shows. All right, guys. I'm going to call my prostitute, and I'll see you in a couple weeks. It's an international call. She doesn't live here. It's just phone sex. Hi, Ghislaine. It's Scotty Boy.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Sylvia. Happy birthday.